welcome to another Dose of Empire, where we share stories to elevate and inspire. I am honored to introduce our next guest. She's beautiful. She's a French teacher. She is an inspirational, a motivational speaker. In my book, please help me welcome the one and only Chloé. Hi.
Hi, bonjour, Mimi. How are you?
Bonjour. Merci encore for being here. I love doing this, especially with, oh my God, an amazing inspirational teacher like you. What would be one of the biggest risks you ever taken?
So this one, you see, to me, even at the time, I didn't see it as a risk. To me, it was an opportunity. I was 19. Like, at the time, nothing was at risk for me. I hadn't built anything. You know, what was I leaving behind, really? Nothing. You know, my mum, but, you know, my mum could come and visit me, and I was coming to see her on a regular basis. So to me, at the time, there was like a zero risk at all. So talking about risk, one of the biggest risks that I took lately is just quitting my job to teach, because, you know, yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay, how did that feel?
It felt liberating and amazing. So when I started Clubhouse, Feb 2021, we had that thing, I don't know if you've heard of it, in the UK called furlough system, which means that you know, you were working from home, but some companies had made their employees redundant. So I was still employed, but I was not working full-time. I was only working a few days a week, which was fine, because I had plenty of time to be in Clubhouse and to do rooms, and then to connect with the Americans and Americans, the Brits, and it was great. Absolutely loved it. And then I came back to full-time, but I still kept the pace with Clubhouse, which was kind of tough, but it made me realize that the one thing I wanted to slow down or to stop wasn't Clubhouse or teaching, it was the job. So my job just got in the way of what I love doing the most. So I said, well, you know, this needs to go. This job needs to go. So I quit. And I'm very happy.
God. Please go ahead, continue.
I mean, so I made a decision to quit maybe a month after I joined Clubhouse. Wow. But I didn't quit then. I officially, you know, what's the word? See, this is it. When it's late like this, I'm looking forward. I don't have the word in English. I don't have it in French. Wow. So
I know the feeling. I do.
I wrote my resignation letter, and then a month later I was gone, but it was fine. You know, I didn't, you know, storm out or anything. It was all nice and clean. And yeah, I quit, and I said, well, I want to do what I love the most, which is teaching. And it's funny because, as I've told you, as a child, I was absolutely drawn into, you know, the French language and the grammar and all the verbs and stuff. And then I studied business, which has of course helped me in life, and I studied other things and stuff. And it's like I've done all that path to come back. I wouldn't say to square one, but to come back to my first love in a way. And then I've added English as well, because I do teach English to French. I've got French speaking clients, you know, who wants to enhance their English skills. So that's another another skill that I have as well. And so I quit my job to do this, and I'm very happy. It hasn't been this long, my love. It's been just over a month, and I'm loving it.
Congratulations. I have to ask though, which is easier and even more fun, teaching French or teaching English?
Teaching French, for me, it's always fun. It's always fun because, you know, I don't have to think too much. I don't have to think too much. And my job when I teach French and in the way I create my lessons is to find what my students are going to love, you know. So of course there are some things you can't some things you can't make fun. You can't make them more fun or more, you know, like, you know, you've got some, I'm thinking about my A2 students, you know, it's like imagine that there's like 6 levels. Yeah. They're like level 2, and they're struggling these days with all these pronoms relatifs, qui, que, quoi, dont, où, and I'm like, oh, so I had to like tell them, you know, just do a pep talk before the lesson. Listen, guys, there's going to be a challenge. We're going to make it together. It's going to be fine. So, you know, teaching French for me is very fun, and, you know, bringing up, you know, themes or just subjects, you know, Netflix shows or just like topics. Like last week we did like, sorry, they don't know it, but Sunday, they're going to be real estate agents, but they don't know it yet because I'm sending the lesson tomorrow. Because, you know, there's a show on Netflix called l'Agence de Paris, where it's just, you know, exclusive Parisian houses and stuff. And this is what we're going to talk about. So I'm excited. I can't wait tomorrow to send them the lesson. You know, that's how much of a kid I am. To me, this is fun. Teaching English is a little bit more challenging for 2 reasons. First, most of my clients already speak English. They already speak English. It's just that they want to improve on their accent. So sometimes there can be, you know, that little thing about, oh, you know, but, well, so they take classes with you, but then, oh, well, you know, but people can understand me anyway. So I'm like, I know that you do what you want. Do you want to stay? Do you want to leave? I mean, it's up to you. I don't want to force you. And the second reason why it's a little bit more challenging is because even though my English is quite good, I think.
It is very good. Stop it.
It's like there's still some words that, even though I know them, I probably don't master from a technical point of view as a native would, you know. But this, I usually don't see this as a hurdle or a challenge, and I have to put more effort into, and I guess it's fine, you know, when I prepare an English lesson or English classes in general, and it's a challenge, but it's one that I love. Whereas French is just fun.
I love it. So I have to ask, how do you come up with such interesting lesson plan? I know you said when you started Clubhouse, it was the students help you, but Chloe, I don't think it's just a student. I think you are naturally creative and you like to make it fun. So walk us through the process. For example, you said tomorrow they're gonna be like the l'Agence de Paris.
L'Agence de Paris, yes. So that's the name of the show. And they're gonna be real estate agents. They don't know it yet. It's gonna be fun.
They don't know it yet. I love it. But it is, like, to me, even if I don't speak French, I'm like, oh my God, I want to be there. And now the idea that that's what they're gonna have, you create that excitement for them to learn it, even though you are inputting new information. But the reason it is so good, Chloe, is the fact that when, let's just say 2 months from now, and they have a conversation about real estate, guess what? They're going to think about this fun game, and it is much more easier to retain that information. So in the long run, you are creating almost like this next level of teaching, which I wish more teachers would have done. So how do you come up with that creativity level, would you say?
Again, I don't think, you know, that mentally I'll ever grow up. To me, you know, in many aspects of my life, I am still very young. I'm still a child, yes?
So you are very young, stop it. But like you have a very young mindset, which is good, no?
Very young soul. When I see my niece, I don't have kids yet, but when I see my nieces, all they want to do is have fun. And if you talk to them about plants, you know, it's nice, you know, as a picture, pictures. Oh, this is a plant and this is, I don't know, this green and that green. I don't know much about plants or gardening, as you can tell. But then at some point, come on, guys, let's go out. There's plants there. We're going to take pictures. We're going to touch them. We're going to do this. And to me, this is how you remember stuff. So, thinking back at school, and I don't blame the teachers, when you one single teacher with like 36 students that you see 3 hours a week, and it's either the first hour in the morning or the hour after lunch, and then you're tired and you've got your own issues and students have got their own issues, but you don't have time. You don't have the time to spend, to spend more time with each student. So it's like, you've got a book and you've got to go by the book and this is what we need to read and stuff. So it can easily be a little bit boring. However, on Clubhouse, this isn't the case, and yet I still come up with a plan, because I want to know when students come into the room, I want them to know what we're doing. So I'll always try to add, a little bit of reading, a bit of a listening, and then a discussion at the end. And the classes that I give to my online students, via Zoom and stuff, this is when we're going to do the real estate thing. I want them to have fun. And I want them to be able to use these words. Yes, I'm not saying that's not what we're doing at school, but when we're students, but for example, when I moved to the UK, yes, we have learned so much at school in France about global warming and this, but yet I didn't know just some basic things, like a fork and knife I knew, but then the chest of drawers I didn't know. Yes. It's like, how could we have made this more fun at school and more accessible for students to go abroad and be like, wow, I know English, I am confident in English. Plus also, again, I want them to have fun, and to me, it's just a game and I'm loving it. I'm more excited than them,
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. With that being said, what is a dangerous trait either you've seen in other professors or even teachers, or maybe a teacher of yours where you've seen that personality teaching other students, and that either scares you, or would you simply not recommend, or you would recommend for other students to really run away from?
It's quite a few. When I teach, fair enough, I'm the teacher, but I can make mistakes, as in typos. I can mispronounce something. I don't have a problem with my students saying, oh, miss, you said it was this, but actually it's this. Oh, I think there's a typo here. It's fine, guys. Sorry. I'm so sorry. It's fine. Thank you so much for pointing that out. Thank you so much. Let's move it. Let's move on, So I don't have that thing where I'm the teacher and do not question my authority. I don't have this. I do not have this. Toxic trait. Well, not really what you said, but that's how I heard it. Toxic trait from a teacher. I'd say just wrong assumptions, probably assuming that a lesson taught is a lesson learned. We've had teachers say, oh, but we saw it last week. And you're like, yeah, but I didn't understand. Is there a way we could break this down? I could spend hours, Mimi, breaking one grammatical rule down. I love that. To me, it's like, this is my favorite game, and you want to understand why is this player blue and this one is red. That's fine. I'm going to explain to you. We're going to go back to the roots and how was the blue created versus why is this one red? And I can give you just, I wouldn't say thousands, but like tens of examples until you tell me, yes, Chloe, I'm comfortable. Let's move on. And some teachers, again, I don't blame them. I do believe that most of us have the passion, but sometimes maybe they lack time or maybe patience. And I'm grateful for having that patience and being able to go through little things like this, or to spare, students from feeling silly or ignored or just afraid of asking questions. I think that's the worst in school, at school, feeling frustrated because you feel stupid asking a question.
Yes. I love that. Oh my goodness. I think that's the worst. I know sometimes they say you have to be ready to learn, to receive, ready to be received before you can teach anything. Do you find that to be true? As I was listening to you, I don't know if that's actually, because in one way, it is fair to assume if someone is sitting in your classroom, they must have been going through the process of, okay, I'm ready to receive this new language, this new learning criteria. So, and also you mentioned one of the worst challenging students you had is just the ability of them maybe not being able to receive. But would you agree that sitting and to learn a new language entails having the mindset of being ready to receive new information?
Yeah, of course. And I do appreciate that, some students are more advanced than others, but to me, there's always something to learn. And what I don't, I'd say, agree with is, students who say, it could be students, could just be people who just, I know this. I know this already, so I don't need to. And it's like, there's nothing wrong with reviewing something, again, especially when it comes to a language that you may believe that you are confident, in, and then actually you're not that confident, or you are not that proficient. So that's fine. Just, sit down, we're all fine. When I'm on stage, and of course, my love, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't feel like, I'm there and people are there. That's not it. We're literally here together, and I'm happy to repeat and then to review something. And this, what I don't like is when, you have sometimes the occasional student who would want to, just change the subject or just come on stage and feel like this is a discussion. And I don't like it because my students don't like it. And then they get irritated. And during my class, when I'm trying to manage, this student who feels like talking about something else, I'm trying to say, hey, we're just doing a lesson. Have you got the lesson? The link is here. I receive students, messages from my student with like angry faces, or just like the eye roll saying, oh, who's this? And what does she, what does he want? And why is he or she interrupting us? And la, la, la. So yeah, it can be a bit tricky, but it's never, not under control or anything like that. So it's good.
Makes sense, because I think there's a time and place for everything. And if you're not focusing on the subject like that, it can be very distracting for those trying to learn. So what is one thing you wish you learned early on? You talk about that student who sometimes creating that distraction in that setting. So what is one thing you wish you learned early on, either in a teaching setting or even moving from France to the UK? Anything you wish you learned early on?
I wish I had listened to myself sooner, that is to say pre-lockdown, because for some people today, and I'm part of these people, Millie, there was a life pre-lockdown and then one after. So it's like living two lives. I wish I had trusted myself more, listened to myself, and maybe like dared do the big jump and find a way to teach full time before. But then at the same time, it's all well made and everything's happening for a reason. So, lockdown has changed people's lives. It has changed my life more than I would have changed my life without it. Perhaps I would have one day decided to teach, but maybe at a much later stage when really I needed it now, So I'd say probably I wish I had dared more at the time, but is it really something I regret today? No, I'm good. I'm happy it unraveled that way. So yeah, very happy.
It makes sense, because you never know. Maybe you studied that earlier and then you never know. I agree. That's a very good answer, by the way. How do you continuously align your mission with your vision? What do I mean by that? Because obviously you said you took that leap of faith. Now you quit your job and obviously you're doing what you love. But how do you constantly, unless you are doing it now or you're not doing it now, how do you continuously maintain that fine line of following your mission, what you believe is your mission in life, and you align with your personal vision and love for life.
We wanted to take a moment to thank all our new subscribers. Please don't hesitate to comment below. Let us know how you enjoying our podcast so far, or if you have any recommendations so we can continue to give you great contents. Thank you so much for listening. Thanks for watching.
This is going to sound probably very, very cliche. As you know, in France we say bateau. But I try to do everything whilst, you know, keeping it fun and keeping it, you know, kind of everything I do, everything I am needs to resemble me in a way. I try to like follow one path in a way, and it's got to feel right. Yeah. You know, when it comes to mission and vision, you know, of course I can think of the values of my company, but essentially my company is me for now. So I
you are the brand.
Yes, exactly. Like my mission is, of course, you know, to teach, and at the same time, my vision is to show everybody and to lead everybody towards a different way of learning languages and, you know, falling in love with languages, either for the first time or over and over again. So it needs to feel right. It needs to be fun. And I guess at the moment I can see that my students stop having fun, then I probably need to reinvent myself and do it differently, because, you know, this is what I love doing. This is what I do best. I can do other things, but I believe that teaching is what I do best. I've been receiving since the beginning of Clubhouse many messages of people who've called me blessed. And it's the first time somebody told me, you are blessed, you are gifted. This is for you. And
they're right.
I did cry. And I feel like this is my purpose. There's probably more to this, which will come later in due course. But right now, you know, my vision, my mission is this. So, yeah, I hope that answers the question.
As I was listening, you know, another way that I see it so clearly with your mission is whenever you post for real on Instagram, and I'm like, oh my God, how did she come up with that? That is so French. And it's just, I mean, it's just, but I can see it so clearly, and it's embedded in everything you do, especially with your reel, how you customize it based on obviously learning French. So with that being said, how do you come up with the idea even to do your reels? And obviously they translate in teaching French. And every time I see one, I'm like, oh my God, that is so fun. And it's also something about the French language as well. So how do you come up with that creativity? It's inspirational.
Believe it or not, but I have today I see about 35 students as in an online setting. That's not Clubhouse. I'm talking like, you know, Zoom and my own classes. I see about 35 students a week, individuals and then groups. And you guys are very funny. You guys are very funny.
Is that a good or bad thing?
Yeah. Come from, of course, different countries, different horizons, and it's your perception of the language. Sometimes my students come up with the funniest things, yes? Or sometimes I'm just here, you know, the same enthusiasm as Clubhouse. Hi guys, so listen, we're gonna do this, and I'm teaching, and I can see on camera when it comes to grammar, you know, the pronoun relatif, I can see my students going like this, or like this, or like this, and I'm like, this is so funny. And I tell them, this is so funny, guys, this is definitely gonna be in a Reels. And then when they see my Instagram Reels, they're like, yeah, this is us. This is us. They comment, c'est vrai, c'est moi. I don't know if you've seen, maybe not, but like a few months ago, I reenacted at my very humble level a friends scene between Joey, who's trying to learn French.
I did it. This is actually one of my favorite. I did see it. I love it.
And
I think I posted it. I reposted it just because it was so funny.
And everybody said, this is me. Oh, Madame Chloé, c'est moi. And they all reposted it, and I said, this is too funny. This is hilarious. And I said, no, not you guys, but it was just tempting.
Chloe, that's what I'm saying. That was so funny. If you guys have not seen it, obviously Chloe's information gonna be linked below. Go check out her reels. But that one specifically, the reason it's so funny, it was just like you kept repeating it, the teaching, and it goes back to you need a lot of patience to teach, because I think I probably went through that process when it comes, like right now, the stage I'm in is going to recall all the information I have in French.
Yeah.
And I can remember back when I was younger, that probably was one of my struggles for sure. But it was just so funny. I think it was just a funny video. But how do you maintain? Walk us through the process. Obviously, I hope I'm not going to make you cry after this. I know you mentioned after that you may cry. I hope that's not true, just because you are sharing your genius. You are tapping into your genius and sharing it with the world you are. And you're doing it authentically. So walk us through the process of teaching a class and what you have to do to really decompress after a class like this, especially when you really need to have patience to really teach us and say the same thing over and over. Walk us through the process of the decompressing day or relaxing day for Chloe after really teaching and repeating the same thing, maybe 50 times.
Okay, that is funny, because there is, the Chloe that you hear on Clubhouse, and I'm like, that's fine, don't worry, I'm gonna repeat. And then, on the other side of the screen, I'm like, oh, I just said it 50 times. But I mean, what can you do? Again, my love, it goes back to Clubhouse. I make it look like a class. And that, there's students sitting in the front row who are happy to speak. And then you've got students in the audience who are just at the back of the class, and they're probably a little bit tired, or they're just listening. That's fine, right? It's fine. I'm not going to force them to come on stage or to participate, even though sometimes I do send the invitation. You never know. Anyway, actually, what could make me lose patience, even though I would never show it, it's not the action of repeating something from the lesson. It's, of course, as you know, it's audio only. So there is like a link literally above my profile picture where people need to click. And it's pretty, it's pretty, it's pretty self-explanatory in a way that there's a link, and then you click this link and it says Clubhouse French lesson. That's it. It could be easier with just like a one-click thing, but then there's a momentum. I build, me and my students build some sort of momentum. I'm asking questions about a text that we just read, and that's cool. And you're replying, oh yeah, et pourquoi elle porte une robe? Oh, parce que, so it's like, we actually all into it. We want to know why she's wearing a dress and decided not to wear these trousers today. It's kind of fun. And then there's someone who's going to come on stage, raise their hand, come on stage, and I'm going to come to them like popcorn style, and they're going to say, yeah, I don't have the text. So I'm like, yeah, that's fine, don't worry, just click the link online, the link above my face, and then that's it. And then they go, what link? Oh, I can't see it. And that's when I start receiving messages from my students, like angry face, like punches and stuff. And I'm like, they're losing patience. Sometimes, I think on one occasion, one of the persons said to them, well, actually, there's the link there, and it's, come on, dude, it's easy. And I'm like, wow. When it comes to explaining the language, no, I don't really lose patience, because that's when, there's like patience and then there's passion. So I could pause and then explain it all over again. I don't mind.
I love it. Oh my goodness. I think it's so funny because I can totally relate. I get it, because not only there's already a random momentum going there, but and especially if you tell them where it is and they're like, where exactly? On top of whose head?
Yeah, what link? No, I don't see anything. guys, don't worry.
But I can totally relate. But you know what? It's good that, Clubhouse has evolved. And it has evolved because that wasn't there before, by the way.
Yeah.
I remember at one point, you told them to go on your Instagram page and it was linked there. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Exactly.
And yes, I was one of them, by the way.
Oh, bless you.
Because I think you were going to, what is the next letter? But I don't think I asked. I think someone else asked. And I'm like, okay, thank God someone asked it because I didn't. But it can be very challenging when you are going into it, but oh my God, but the moment you get into the class, so you are having fun for sure. But I can see how this can be very challenging. So walk me through the process of one of your best class, like the one that left you, or maybe you have too many, you can't even name one, but do me the favor of what is one of the best class you ever had look like? What did it look like? Either on Zoom, Clubhouse, or even in person?
Okay. Zoom with my students, we use Teams, but it's the same thing. One of my best Teams classes was with my B2 students. So again, if you imagine 6 levels, they're level 4. So they're to me, it's like they're between high, intermediate, and advanced. And we were having a chat, and I can't remember how it came up. I remember it was the week before Valentine's, and I see them weekly. And then one of them mentioned something about swear words, and I said, "Oh, guys, do you want to learn swear words?" And they said, "Yeah." Mimi, oh my God, I prepared this class like it was my last. Yeah, I gave the whole vocabulary, and during that class where they were reading swear words and then learning and then trying to, I gave them scenarios to make. Oh, for example, this guy, like overpassed you and didn't do this. Like, how do you react? And they had to swear. That's the exercise. They had to they had to pick the right swear word. Mimi, this class, I wish I could just do it again. And I will. I will, because it was amazing. On Clubhouse, okay, every 10 lessons, that's for the beginning class, every Sunday. Every 10 classes, I do a quiz. Where I ask questions. So we do like a quick review on the words that we've learned over the past 10 weeks. And then we do a quiz at the end. And then I've got the whole countdown music, 30 seconds. And then at the end, I tell them, once I give you your score, once you're done, please go to Google Image and replace your profile picture with your score. And I can see people getting very competitive and raising their hand. And I've seen them in the audience for weeks, but no, they want to win. And they go, "Oh no, that guy scored 13. I swear to God, I'm going to beat him. And they give everything. And at the beginning, I'm like, for example, "Gabriella, are you ready?" And she's like, "Yeah, I'm nervous." It's like, I am the same teacher. This is the same class, but I've managed to, create an environment where it's fun. You feel nervous. Of course, I'm not happy to make my students nervous or anything like this, but it's fun.
It is right, though. It is, especially, even sometimes when you play music on Instagram that has a curse word, I cringe because I'm like, oh, I'm getting nervous. How are they going to receive it? But at the same time, it's so much fun. It is so much fun. It's just the nervousness is there. That's okay. So what happened next?
Well, after that, then of course at the end there's a winner, and then every time I do a Clubhouse room, what I do is I take a screenshot of how many people attended the room, and then I do like a fun background and stuff. Well, I'm not very good at this, but I do my best. If you ever see my story, I try to do my best with this, and then I tag them and I said thank you, and then some of them repost. And then I get messages saying, "Oh, Madam Chloe, it was so much fun. I really enjoyed it. When is the next class?" And that alone, I'll give you an example. I mean, I'll give you like an anecdote. I can't remember exactly when it was, but definitely August. And we did that quiz. And at the end, everybody stayed. And they all said, "Oh, thank you so much." And it was very overwhelming for me. it was so overwhelming for me, you know, all these students saying, oh my God, thank you so much, Chloe, for this 10 weeks, even though I was going to come back the next week. And Mimi, I cried. I broke down in tears on Clubhouse, and I was like, guys, thank you so much. And they're all unmuted, and they said, no, Chloe, thank you so much, you're amazing. All these nice words. Bear in mind that I was at a stage where I didn't like my job anymore, and I really wanted to quit. And then that day alone triggered something in me, and I said, yeah, I want to quit. I need to quit because I want to make a difference in people's life. I want to impact them, of course, at my, you know, French teaching level, but I want to feel useful. I want to feel appreciated, and this is it. So it's like, maybe there's like 12 people telling me, you know, Chloe, you're doing amazing. Thank you so much for everything. But it was more than enough for me to feel special and to feel loved. And I think that's how I decided that I will quit my job and I will do this full time, make it fun. And my challenge and my goal is to, you know, teach as many people as possible, and to ideally to make them fall in love with my language.
God, I love it. I'm not gonna cry. But listen, but I say that all the time. When you tap into your genius, and I think everybody has that within them. And I think many times we let fear or uncertainty, not knowing, or maybe we never seen it before. I don't know if I ever met another French teacher on Clubhouse. I don't know if I met any teacher really teaching another language on Clubhouse. Chloe, you should be very proud of yourself. I know you're saying it's not that hard. It is hard. It is hard what you're doing. I don't know why you do. This is extremely challenging. And it's just the beauty of speaking to you. The first challenge, I feel like your response would have been teaching people on voice only. That should have been your first. That's what I thought your first response would have been. But in a grand scheme of things, you made something so challenging look so easy. When we teaching, I mean, I pride myself. I'm a tutor. I cannot do it full time. I don't have your patience. I cannot do it too long. But when I do it, I do it only kids. I think 8 years old, 5, 3. I like to do kids because they listen and I can play with them. Anything older than that, it's a challenge. But when you do it, sometimes some people learn through movement, through audio. And to me, that's a challenge. But Chloe, what you're doing, you're teaching people purely on audio. They have, and a whole other language at that. It's insanely incredible. It's amazing. I hope you take the time to pat yourself on the back to really understand, to really teach something like that just with audio. You have to understand that your skill level must be incredible to even get to that caliber. And whatever you do next, I can only wait to see what you do next, because I know you're gonna do something amazing. If you can turn something that challenging into something so easy as you call it, whatever you do next is gonna be incredible. So thank you so much for sharing. It's incredible. So I cannot wait to see what you do next. And if I can help in any way, obviously I'm gonna follow you, whatever you do next. It's just simply incredible. With that being said though, what would you say to anyone trying to tap into their genius? Because what you have done is do a skill that I know you said is full circle, but you did acquire a lot of experiences. You have the business mindset, the creativity, and obviously you knew French, and now you are teaching at a whole different level, on corporate level. And even though you've been doing it for years, but you were able, with all those skills, manage to tap into your genius, I would say. What would you say to anyone trying to either to teach or either finding their why? What would you recommend for anyone to find their own passion and tap into?
To find their own passion, you've got to try stuff. You've got to try what you like, what you don't like. You've got to know, for example, some people, you're going to realize I talk a lot about lockdown, because for most people around me, it has been a major change. Some people, started gardening. Some people actually decided to start the business or to actually explore the business idea they've had for a while, and for them it failed, so they decided to start something else. Perhaps if they had tried to do it differently, maybe it would have, we'll never know. Some people, just decided to go back to, in French you'd say, their first love, and my first love has always been teaching. Even when I was a kid, I was doing like what we call dictée, like dictation to my mom, and I was challenging adults and stuff. So it's like, I'd say my advice would be explore, go, just don't be scared of trying new things. And then the second thing will be listen to yourself. If you know that there's secretly something that's you've always wanted to do, but then you've always been scared, or some people that say, well, my wife doesn't want me to do this, or, I have kids, maybe it's a bit late. I don't know, but if it's there, if it's bugging you, feel free to dare and just explore. By all means, explore. You can never be disappointed. If you try and it doesn't work, then it's fine, but at least you know that you've tried, and perhaps you'll try again. Perhaps you've decided it wasn't for you, but try. By all means, try.
I love it. I couldn't agree with you more. Oof, 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 oof. Okay, we have to pivot a little bit, and I'm hesitant, and maybe you're gonna help me pronounce it, but I'm so scared. Francophonie. Did I pronounce it correctly?
Yeah.
Yes, I did it. But I know people celebrate Francophonie Week. Do you celebrate? What would you say to those who celebrate? Do you celebrate? That's my first part of the question.
So when it's la semaine de la francophonie, of course I'm aware of it, but I see it as a week to appreciate the language that I love the most, and to me it is beautiful. So I don't celebrate it personally. I'm just happy that we have this like one language, and of course through history, the good moments and the most tragic ones, we have now 29 countries who are French speaking. And I think this is amazing because, believe it or not, my love, but I've been on Clubhouse over a year, and I have met at least one person from these 29 countries. So it does mean a lot to me that some, people in my room have come from all these countries. Of course, we're not going to name them all, but it could be Cameroon, it could be Switzerland, it could be Canada, it could be Benin. I mean, I have met these people, and I find this absolutely amazing. What this means for me is that there's one language, and there's just so many people who speak it, and this is so cool that I get to teach it. And this is what I celebrate every day, just teaching it.
That's incredible. Oh my God. Yeah, I love French. And it kills me that I'm slowly forgetting French, but I'm glad there are classes just like yours, reminding us the love for French, for the French culture, and how you make everybody feel welcome, either you speak French or not, or whatever level you're on, either level 1, 2, 3, 4, or even 6, like you pointed it out. But yes, I love it. Thank you so much for sitting down with me. I still want to scream. But before we go, my last question is, what would you like to leave with anyone listening? I know we talked about your love for the French language, your being a teacher, both English and French, and how your patience, and it's incredible. It's admirable, by the way. I just said that out to you. You make it look easy. What would you like to leave with anyone listening before we end?
I'd say to everyone, well, first, of course, thank you so much for listening, and for just like attending and everything, which is amazing. I'd say for everyone, like one piece of advice or one, just try, just dare and just do, like, explore, follow your it's easy to sort of follow your passions, follow your dreams. Mine at the moment is ideally to make an impact, to make a difference in somebody's life. I remember, Mimi, and I think this is the case for everybody, when we were kids, or even young students, we either loved or hated a subject in school, and most of the time I wouldn't say most of the time, I don't have the statistics, but it could be related to the teacher. And the subjects that we love, we somehow associated it with the teacher.
Yeah.
And even now, I'm 31 years old, and I still remember teachers from when I was maybe not 7 or 8, but when I was 12, and that English teacher and this, French teacher, and these people, without knowing it, with the hundreds or thousands of students they've seen during their career, now these ladies are retired and they're probably living a good life, and I hope they're all healthy and well, but they probably don't realize how much of an impact they have made in my life and in other students' life. Yeah. And I'd love to impact children, adults now, and that they, of course, love the language and remember that they had a fantastic time learning with the teacher. So I'd say to everybody, I'd love to leave people with this today, is if you can find something where and people tell you that you're making a difference or an impact, you are impacting their lives, then this must be worth pursuing. So go for it.
I love it. Chloe, thank you for being you. Thank you for being amazing. Thank you for teaching us and impacting us. I cannot wait to see you next. I cannot wait to see what you do next.
Thank you.
I cannot wait to sit in your next class, honestly. And to see your next wheel, just because they're so hilarious. Like, they're just so funny. So thank you so much for being here. And I can't wait to see you next time.
See you next time. Merci beaucoup. Bisous, bisous. À bientôt. Bisous, bisous.